Here across the northern plains where, yes, by the way, you've got blizzard conditions going on in the eastern part of North Dakota, western Minnesota, verified, by the way, 3 consecutive hours and counting. We do have the temperatures on the colder side across the northern plains and the upper Midwest. Elsewhere, it's not really too bad here. Across the Ohio Valley, we see lots of 50s out there for your afternoon high temperature. So we are going to see those temperatures drop tonight. You can see them going down below zero. These, by the way, your actual temperatures, not the wind chill factors, and there will be some wind making it feel colder out there as we head into early Saturday morning. Now, as we take a look at the wind chills, we're well below zero. How about 18 below in parts of South Dakota? And as you can see for tomorrow, temperatures are still going to be on the chilly side. We're talking 5 to 15 degrees below average for this weekend, this Valentine's weekend. If you're heading out and doing anything fun with your loved one, it looks like you'll have to bundle up and use the chimenea, right, or the wood stove to keep you warm across the Northeast. All right, here's a look at your Sunday temperatures. Still on the chilly side here, Marquette 12, 19 degrees in Syracuse. This is as high as we go. So you know those overnight lows are going to be brutal. They're going to be way worse. For Minneapolis, you know, the average high typically is below freezing, right around 27 degrees. Will be a balmy 38 degrees today, but then look what happens tomorrow. Only 6 degrees for your high temperature. And then we slowly warm things up as we head towards Monday. And yes, we do go above average as we head towards Tuesday of next week into the mid 30s. For a place like Buffalo, the average high for this February day should be 32. We are well above that for today, mid 30s on your Saturday. And it looks like by Valentine's Day, high of 18 degrees. That's it. And then we do warm up a little bit as we head towards Tuesday. Steph?
Well, Raleigh is
for your Friday. Let's see if you're going to be happy about your travel plans today as we bring the plane in. Just check the board. No delays from the west coast to the east coast, although we do have a little bit of a clipper moving on through and even some windy conditions from the upper Midwest into the Great Lakes. So de-icing delays are possible, and even wind could cause a bit of turbulence out there as well. So there's a look at our forecast. A few delays possible for a place like Buffalo, Detroit. Definitely check ahead if you're flying in or out of Minneapolis and even around the Denver area where we do have winter weather advisories in effect. So let's focus in on the northern plains because that is where we've had blizzard warnings going this morning across the eastern part of North Dakota, northwestern Minnesota, Cass County, by the way, picking up a few inches of snow so far. Those winds will be exceeding 30 miles per hour at times, gusting over 50 miles per hour. So you've got some whiteout conditions that you are dealing with out there. There's your steady north to northwesterly wind, over 30 steady, and then gusting even higher than that, closer to 50. To the south of all that, you see the green on the map. That is your rain, and that is also pretty heavy in parts of the Midwest. Blizzard warnings showing up in the pink. You've got the winter storm warnings for parts of the UP of Michigan, as well as winter weather advisories for northern Wisconsin. And this system eventually heads into the area around Detroit. Some snow showers, but look at the rain snow line. You know, that purple indicating that mix of rain and snow pretty far to the north, Jim. So there is a bit of warmer air that we're dealing with at this particular system.
Yes, snow to rain to
we don't have much sun in store for parts of the northern plains, upper Midwest. We've got a lot of clouds and that snow going sideways out there as we check on your Subaru safe driving. It is going to be a mess out there for the northern plains and parts of the Midwest. Here along the Midwest I-55, it's not so bad. It is going to be raining though, so the windshield wipers will have to be working a little hard to keep up with that rain. You see Chicago, cloudy skies, rain along the southwest coast of Michigan, and oh, by the way, a rain-snow mix as far north as Michigan. So you're going back and forth between precip types. Obviously, you've got the snow, and then we switch over to rain for a little while. A place like Detroit with some snow on the backside as well. So here is a look at your forecast for today. The I-70 corridor, it's going to be a mainly rain event, but that purple, an approximation of that freezing line, that's where you've got more of a wintry mix, some rain and snow or changeover occurring, and that will happen in Buffalo as well as we see some snow coming in eventually. Syracuse, we've got you in the rain for this evening, a bit of wind out there as well. Pittsburgh, your morning rush looks fantastic. You need the sunglasses actually, but then we cloud up right around your lunch break on this Friday and heading towards the evening rush. This is when the showers will move in to western PA. Steph?
Well, evacuation orders
make your job a little bit easier, but that's one tough job for sure. All right, if you work outside, speaking of jobs, in the upper Midwest, the northern plains, you guys know the deal, especially if you live in a place like Duluth. You're going to need all the layers coming up this weekend and just cover up as much as you can because frostbite will be a thing, and you can see the actual temperature getting down to minus 16 degrees tomorrow morning at about 7 a.m. As you can see, when you factor in that wind, even though it's only at 7 miles per hour, but gusting as high high as 17. It's going to feel like minus 31. So it doesn't take long for hypothermia to set in or even frostbite if you do work outside. So make sure you are using all the layers efficiently here. Use the hat, the scarves, the mittens as well. I think the mittens, Jim, work better than the gloves.
I agree with you, actually.
Fingers warm.
And you ask it.
They immediately start laughing, which means they're okay, which is a good thing, right? They're able to say they're okay. All right, you guys, are we okay when it comes to travel? I think so. Your early flights, no issues. We don't have any delays. There is some de-icing going on. Places like Akron, Ohio, there will be some snow and possible snow removal delays as we go through the day. Some of those smaller upper Midwest and Midwestern airports. Buffalo, we got that rain coming through. The wind is also going to be an issue for you in places like Chicago and Detroit. Minneapolis, de-icing delays are possible. And then you've got Denver with a winter weather advisory in effect for today. A few inches of snow and some breezy conditions too. Not as windy as what we're seeing though across the upper Midwest and the northern plains. This is where we've got a blizzard going on. Blizzard warnings are in effect for the eastern sections of North Dakota, western Minnesota as well. So reduced visibility. In fact, officials are saying, please don't go anywhere if you don't have to. Stay off the road. If you do get into an incident, you're going to be dealing with some bitter cold temperatures as well. So here's a look at the rain showing up on the map across central Illinois, right there around Springfield, Champaign-Urbana, over towards northern Indiana. Southerly wind keeping us on the milder side for places like Chicago, but that northerly wind will get you here in the northern plains. That's where we've got those blizzard warnings showing up in the pink. Winter weather advisories, northern Wisconsin, and even winter storm warnings for parts of the UP of Michigan. So kind of a mixed bag, you know, coming through southern Michigan with that rain snow line right there. Detroit starting with snow, Jim, then we could go over to rain for a little bit and then back over to snow on the backside.
Yeah, and that's when you go over in the back.
Steph, on the West Coast, coming up on America's Morning Headquarters. This Sunday's Super Bowl is going to be hot, that's for sure. We're not just talking about the plays on the field, we're talking about those air temperatures. Coming up, find out how the stadium's unique design means fans and players will be focused on the game and not the heat. Time now for your in or out forecast. You've got the indoor plans in a place like Dayton, Ohio. Yeah, it's going to be a kind of a cold rain for you guys on and off all day. 46 degrees. And in Ashland, Virginia, get out there and enjoy, pack your lunch. 68 degrees. That is a nice temperature for this time of the year. We'll leave you with a live look into doing a job like that and just executing in those cold temperatures as well. And speaking of cold, we got more on the way, you guys. It's time for Valentine's weekend. A lot of you have plans with Valentine's Day coming in on a Monday. And hopefully your plans include maybe some indoor dining options. Certainly here in the upper Midwest, you got the cold and the wind to deal with in a place like Duluth. Tomorrow morning, you're starting off with minus 16, your actual temperature on the thermometer. You factor in that wind that gusts as high as 17, and there you go with a wind chill factor of minus 31, and that's the number you dress for. That's the number you prepare for. All the layers, cover up as much as you can. For people who have to work outside, this can be especially dangerous, Jim, especially if they're out there for any extended period of time. But this is also an area that we're watching the snow come down across the upper Midwest, but we're going to talk about a pattern change coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be a big pattern.